Hi, this is Frank Taylor with Nature at Your Door, and today I'm at my workshop and I'm going to show you how to make some critter cages with some everyday stuff that you've got around. I like to build mine with plastic containers that held rice or peanuts or mixed nuts in them, and you can build yours out of what you want to, but I'll show you the technique that I came up with. And here's your materials list for this project. You'll need a safety razor knife with a good handle, a plastic jar with a screw-on lid, a glue gun, and fiberglass window screening. And the idea is to build a critter cage or a bug box that's well ventilated. Insects, and especially if you're using this bug box to rear caterpillars that are feeding on some leaf material, it's really important that it's well ventilated, not just so they can breathe, but so you minimize the growth of fungus and molds in that kind of trapped air environment. So let's go inside and I'll show you how to make your own critter cage. Right here in your backyard. You never know what you're going to find. And here's to make this invasive. It's exotic. Front yard. Dogwoods are flowering. And I just took a couple swipes of terrestrial environment.
Produce seed pollen. And it's...
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a box like this, plastic container, this old peanut jar, and we're going to turn it into a critter cage like this. See, I've got caterpillars in there, well ventilated, and I'll show you how to make one of these. And we're going to start with making a top. So I want to cut out the top of this to ventilate it and put a screen in it. I'm going to take my razor knife, and I got a really good heavy duty, good handle, firm grip, so I won't cut myself. I'm going to take the point of that razor knife and I'll give it a little leverage and get that point right in there, just to get it started. And once I got it started, I'll push that razor knife in all the way. Now I'm going to pull it back out, because I'm not going to pull this around. If you pull on this, you can jerk that thing, and next thing you know, you've got a deep cut. So I'm letting leverage do all the work for me. And I'm just taking the razor knife, putting it right up against the lid, and then levering it in. So the work is being done by leverage. I'm not pulling it. I'm not pulling it towards me. I'm pushing it straight down and using that leverage to work my way around this top. There we go. Next, I'm going to cut out the label on the front. Same thing, use the leverage. And this is a little softer. I'm going to carefully work it down the front. I'm going up the side here. I'm going to do a little bit of leverage here because it's really secure. Got that partially cut through. Cut this side. Now I've got a point where I can finish that with scissors, a lot safer than the knife. I've got the front cut up. Next, I'm going to take my screening and cut out a piece that'll fit over that. And sometimes I cut it just a little bit bigger because I can always go back and trim the rest. Let's see, that screen fits over the front. Take my glue gun, and without the screen there, I'm going to run the starter bead of glue all the way around here. I'm not shy with my glue gun. I'm pretty liberal with the amount of glue. This is about making something that works. I'm not too worried about how pretty it is. It'll definitely be functional. Take the screen, pull it over the top, and pulling the edges down into that hot glue. I'm not a big fan of getting burned by hot glue. And that's got me started. I'll hold that a little cool for a second. Now I'm going to take my glue gun and go through the screen from the top like this. And so that glue goes through the fabric or the screening, and bonds with that first layer of glue. So it doubly secures this whole thing. Of course, if I have small insects in here, I want it to be secure. And like I said, I'm pretty liberal with this glue. I don't mind putting a little bit of extra on there. So next thing, I'm going to take some of this window screening. You can buy window screening at a lumber yard, or you might find some around where you live. For window screening, if you don't have any old screens around that you can cut up and use, you can get it at a hardware store. Fiberglass, multi-use, general purpose screening. And I am going to cut a circle, and it doesn't have to be very exact. I've laid it out here for shape. I can just pick this up. And if you're not comfortable doing that by hand, you could take some whiteout and trace around the top with your whiteout. All right, and that fits down in the bottom. Take my glue gun. I'm going to run a bead of glue all the way around that inner edge. And now I'm going to take this, and rather than using my fingers, I'm going to use the end of a pencil to push that screen down, tamp it down against the glue like that. And then I go back over the top so that the glue on the top sinks through that screening, forms a bond with the glue that's underneath. Press down against that a little bit. And I'm pretty liberal with my glue. Glue's nice and cool, dry. Take a pair of scissors, trim off my raggedy edge. Here's my lid. And I've got another great bug box. Critter cage. Easy to make. So thanks for watching this episode of Nature in Your Yard. This was my first how-to episode. I hope you'll find these useful. Make sure you do this safely. Make sure an adult does the cutting with the razor knife, or find another safer system. Watch out for the hot glue. And I hope you like these containers. They're inexpensive. They are well ventilated. Taking a jar and just punching holes in the top, that just doesn't give enough ventilation for living things. So in this critter cage, I've got some milkweed bugs that I'm keeping on some milkweed. I'm going to let them reproduce here so I can video and film and teach you guys some more about these. And I will release them as soon as I'm done back in the milkweed, exactly where I found them. It's always a good practice. I made this episode for part of my series on monarch butterflies. These make great critter cages for keeping monarch caterpillars. So in my next episode, I'm going to show you how to make a different kind of critter cage with pieces of wood and screening and Velcro as well. Thanks for watching this episode of Nature in Your Yard.
So if you like what I do, please subscribe. And I want to hear from you. Did you make a cage? Did you modify it? What are you using it for? I love to hear from you. Please leave comments and tell me what you're doing.